My passing, 1988. So many wrong decisions. The too short, acid-washed denim skirt, the metallic blouse, the too high heels, the unfortunate overly curly wig. But it all feels so right, all the way into the May Company, until a snarl of teenagers spots me and comes to a halt, their arcing, electric, gum-snapping conversation frozen in midair. Hey, you a man or a woman? Then the giggling. In that split second, I know I'm screwed, totally screwed. I spin back towards the entrance as their keening laughter rips. Hey, faggot, where you going? Now I'm running through the parking lot, carrying my shoes, startling a woman who's taking her toddler out of a car seat. And once I'm in my car, I burn out of the parking lot, wipers flip to high until I realize the water's in my eyes, not on the windshield. It is 1 year to the day before I go out again. This time, the wig is professionally styled, casual, nothing showy, tan top, black slacks, black flats. This time it's a smaller store, a shoe store, and a strip mall. And after building up my courage in the car for 2 hours, I walk inside, past a woman who's talking to some people at the table, but I'm inside, I'm okay. And turning to look at a display, out of the corner of my eye, I see the woman pointing at me, and a young guy, another employee, nodding at her and walking towards me. Oh God, here it comes again. I whirl to look for the exit, but he's blocking the way, so I speed walk down an aisle. He takes the other aisle and meets me at the end. I open my mouth to apologize, to explain, but he just says, "Sorry, ma'am. You walked by so fast you didn't get your gift flower. Here, it's part of our anniversary celebration." And he hands me an artificial peach-colored rose on a green wire stem. "Have a nice day, ma'am," he adds with a smile. Weak-kneed, I collapse onto a stool and reach out to grab a shoe just to have something to look at. And a woman across from me gives me an odd look, wondering how the plain black loafer in my hand inspired the remarkable expression on my face. Of course, my family was involved in my transition, whether they wanted to be or not. This included my ex-wife, but still best friend Dinah, my mother Ella Mae, and my daughter Noelle. Mom's pro and con list. I have to say, Dick, that when you told me a couple months ago you could have knocked me over with a feather, why didn't I know what you'd been going through ever since you were little, for all those years? A mother should know or sense something, but I never did. Anyhow, I know you've thought about this, and I respect that, but I still want you to do the list, just so it's all on paper. It's my prerogative as a mother. Check the rule book. Okay, first the pros. If you start living as a woman full-time here in Cleveland, you'll be happier, right? Anything else? Okay, now the cons. Since everybody will know about your transition, you may not be hired by anyone. How will you support yourself? You say that you and Dinah are still friends, but how long will that last? And all your friends will probably side with Dinah, leaving you even more isolated. Noelle is starting college in the fall. I know you know that, and that you love her, and you think this change will help you show how much you love her, but she may not see it that way. It's really kind of selfish, isn't it? Just doing this so you'll be happier. If your neighbors find out, they may be leery of you, and won't it be harder to get health insurance with AIDS and all? And if you get a job, who will invite you out to lunch, the men or the women? Or neither. The men may consider you a traitor, and the women may not accept you. They may be thinking, you say you're a woman now? A woman evolves from all the days and minutes of being a girl, from the biology, the process of acquiring a woman's body. Not to mention the stress of being a girl and a woman in this culture. It ain't easy, bub. You gotta pay your dues. You just can't jump out of the crowd and run across the finish line. And what about dinner party invitations? It could be awkward. It's all kind of frightening, isn't it? I mean, it affects everything. For instance, what if we go out to dinner together and an old friend of mine stops by the table? All my friends know I have 2 sons. How should I introduce you? What should I say? How about as my niece? My niece, Christine. Yes, this is Christine, my niece. I could do that. Is that okay with you? And a few months later, when I was living full-time as Christine, Mom and I went out to dinner together, and she said, I love this restaurant, don't you? I especially like how the tables are tucked into these little cubby holes. Nice and private, don't you think? Well, your brother called and said you told him. He's pretty shook up, but I think he'll be all right. Anyhow, you look very nice. I like that color on you, especially since it goes... Oh, look, it's Mildred. You remember Mildred, don't you? Mildred, hello, how are you? Well, you look wonderful, too. Mildred, this is Christine. You know, Christine, my daughter. My daughter, Christine. Oh, you didn't know? Or you forgot? Oh, memory is funny. I know. Can't tell you all the things I've forgotten. Forget my head if it wasn't... Well, it was great seeing you again, Mildred. And I'll call you real soon. I will. I promise I will. Oh, okay. You call me sometime. Later tonight? Sure. That'll be fine. Mom stepped up at that time. But going back in time, back when I was 6 years old, things were a lot more confusing. Sign of the cross. When I'm 6 years old, I'm a boy named Richard. I go to Sunday school every week and ask God to make me a girl. I figure, compared to loaves and fishes, it's not that big a deal. Then one Sunday morning, I have an epiphany. My family walks 1 block up Scarborough Road to the busy thoroughfare where our street intersects with Coventry Road and Fairmount Boulevard in Cleveland Heights. Then we cross the street to go to Fairmount Presbyterian Church, right there on the opposite corner. On this trek, holding my dad's hand, I see a sign by the crosswalk. It has 3 words on it, and I can read the last 2, cross here. But the first word is long, and it tires me out to look at it. But I do notice it starts with a P and ends with R-I-A-N, like the name of our church. So I come to the conclusion that the sign says, Presbyterians cross here. This thought percolates for a bit, and I begin to feel powerful as a 6-year-old can feel. It appears our religion owns this crosswalk. And as I walk on other streets with my parents, it seems we've taken over many of the other crosswalks in the neighborhood. I begin to look with new admiration at the adults who run our church. And I wonder where other people cross the street. Like the Catholics who go to St. Anne's Church down the way. I figure they must have to dart through traffic to get from one side to the other. And being 6, this does not seem too harsh a penalty. After all, I imagine we won these crosswalks fair and square. I knew we had an army, since we sang about our Christian soldiers almost every Sunday. The crosswalks were ours now, so too bad for them. I was a Presbyterian, king of the crosswalks, and I imagined glorious future victories when we might even take over the sidewalks themselves. Of course, I eventually came to realize that the first word on those signs did not say Presbyterians. It was a profoundly deflating moment for me, and I've questioned the authority of signs and religion ever since. I'd like to conclude with this piece that's not from the film, but captures my relationship with my daughter, Noelle. The lifespan of a hug. It was the day when she crawled up on my lap at 3 years old, threw her little arm around my neck like a drinking buddy, and waited for a hug from me, her dad. That was when my arms lay on the arms of the chair, inert, dead. I could not hug my little daughter because I knew that inside I was different. I couldn't play pretend anymore, have her think I was a man when in reality I knew that was a lie. So I didn't hug her. And eventually she crawled down off my lap, toddling off, hurt and confused. She learned not to ask for hugs or to wait for one because I was hidden too far away, too bruised. The pain was racking because my secret was hijacking my love for her, ransacking our relationship that was lacking only one thing, the truth. She pulled away, put her feelings in a box, and decided life without a dad wasn't all that bad. Just turn up the music, forget the shocks, forget about the father you might have had. And it only got worse until, after many years, it was exactly 14, when she graduated from high school and I came out as Christine. And one day, I asked her for a hug. And she gave me one. I swear, it was a short, stiff-armed hug, more like a shrug, but still, it was there. And over time, we patched the little boat that held us, smoothed out the rawness, fixed the leaks, made sure it was honest. Now she's 46 and I'm 73, and we hug all the time. We even do a little hugging dance, a slow rocking back and forth like a trance. La-dee, la-da. While we stand and embrace, humming soft and low. La-da, la-dee. As parent and child, let the healing flow. As father and daughter, douse the fires of our history to let something better flourish and grow. She still calls me Dad. It's an honor, I confess, since we no longer need to scurry and hide. Here comes my father, my daughter says with pride. She's the one in the purple dress. I celebrate all men who are good dads through and through, those like my father who are male, tried and true. But I found that sometimes it's not so easy being human, and that for me to be a better dad, I had to be a woman.